Welcome, everyone, to the podcast. We are deep down into C.S. Lewis's Till We Have Faces. Almost done.
Today, we're covering chapters 20 and 21. The topic of twisted femininity comes up again, and we thought a lot about flat identity formation. I wanted to make sure you knew about our new freebie, which is a compilation of all of our top 10 favorite books and why we love them. You can get that at growingfruitfulfamilies.com under the Classic Books Podcast tab.
Okay, let's start by introducing yourself and telling your favorite minor character in this book.
Hi, I'm Adeline. I'm 15, and my favorite minor character is Truvia.
And why?
He is hilarious. I enjoy every scene that he's in just because he's funny.
I'm Esther. I am 14. And my favorite character is Arnam because he's a priest and he's genius and everyone likes him. And he also decided to get a statue. And best of all, he does not smell bad.
Oh, yeah, he doesn't smell holy. Very
There
nice.
you go.
That's perfect. My favorite character is Pooby because she's just so cute. She loves Orual. And she has a really nice storyline where she gets to be free and a happy woman. All right, so we're covering chapters 20 and 21. And they're very different chapters. So let's just talk about one at a time. So the first one, chapter 20, I titled The Boring Prosperous Kingdom. Do one of you want to give a short overview?
Basically, she's just going over, I don't remember how many years, probably 10 or 20, where the kingdom is learning to prosper. And so they get a library. The fox dies. You find out who Bardia's wife is. You find out a lot about the kids.
She's talked about her kingdom like a mother talks about her kids.
Mm-hmm.
And I love this quote that she said, "Indeed, Glome had now been nursed and trained till it almost ruled itself." And I was like, that is parenting.
It sounds like how Queen Elizabeth I talked about her kingdom, her first love, and her only love would always be England. And that was more of a romantic kind of analogy of it. But she had that love for her kingdom where she couldn't marry because she had to take care of England.
So although I titled it The Boring Prosperous Kingdom, I also loved the chapter. I did not think the chapter was boring. It was just like, oh, everything's going so good. And it was very restful and relaxing. But we got a lot of character updates. So what was your favorite, one of the character updates that you liked?
I like the fox. He was pretty funny in his last years. He collected books, but he would buy these books from traders and they would always be super expensive. And he was like, it's like worth a dime and it's for $1 type stuff.
I totally looked into the books. It was like a really hard book that started out like this. I gotta know what this is. And it was like Aristotle. He is so hard.
I really liked learning about Pooby. So, her housemaid that stays basically in the background and just cries because she loves Orual. Well, she was freed and she was given the choice to choose a husband, and she chose a really good one and created a loving home and had many children, one of whom was really Orual's good friend and servant who would go around with her on her travels. But it was super cool because it was like a haven for Orual to go to.
Yeah.
And she actually liked being there, which is super cool. That's another womanhood thing. We've been talking a lot about gender, a lot about femininity. Pooby seems like the dream.
Yeah.
She's beautiful and she's loved.
Her program for ending slavery, it wasn't like abolition.
No.
But it was this changing of society that slavery was not going to be what it was. I don't know. I thought it was really interesting.
It was a step up from slavery, definitely, because there were still people that went to the mines. But I think they were usually criminals, but they were given 10 years in the mine, and then it fluctuated. But in 5 years, if you work 5 years in the mine, you can become a citizen, and you'll get allotted land like Orual did for the rest of her slaves. So she realized there were so many, which they were all unnecessary. So she would set them up and give them a house and give them land and whatever else, and they could basically do what they wanted. They became citizens of the country.
One difficulty in the Bible is that Jesus didn't come and say, set the slaves free, and that's a struggle ethically. And I wonder if this is more of the tact taken in the Bible. Treat your slaves like they're your brother. Well, where will that go? You know, it'll lead to you doing what it takes for them to flourish. So it will abolish slavery in the end. So just wondered. I thought it was very interesting. Also, I liked how she said, you can't just set a worthless slave free. You're asking for a beggar.
Yeah.
But the ones that were industrious, those are the ones that you can give the land and they'll do well.
She also said, I couldn't even just set the good slaves free because then they would be reduced to beggars because they didn't have anything to set them up for success.
Right.
So she had to give them this land and a spouse and all these things so that way they could be real citizens and not just beggars. Bardia's wife. We had discussed her a lot. We thought that she was going to die, her baby, because she went into labor early, but she and the child both survived. And apparently she's a very meek woman. Orual calls her fat, and that was very mean of her because this woman has had 8 children. That's not going to end up with a perfect figure or anything. But all in all, she seemed like a normal lady.
Aeneid is her name.
Aeneid. Orual set herself up as a rival, like to everybody. Maybe not everybody, but definitely married women, I guess. I just despise Orual's view on anytime she brings up marriage or pregnancy. I just seethe. She gets under my skin. But this quote she says about Aeneid, she's his toy, his recreation, his leisure, his solace on his man's life. And it's like, that's her view of what it means to be a wife. There's like some truth in it. She's his solace, but that's it. She's like a toy. And then Orual's like, I'm the one who actually is in like the fulfilling part of his life.
You also had that quote about it was like a reverse pregnancy. So Orual says something like, Orual, the character she kind of separated from the queen, she would get smaller and smaller and smaller in this pit of her stomach. And so it was this reverse pregnancy. And it was terrible, especially comparing it to pregnancy was totally wrong.
Like, why would you choose that image? That's ridiculous. That's not like pregnancy, actually, at all. It's not just a comment on how she feels about herself, like Orual growing smaller. It's a comment on how she feels about the womanhood.
Yes, it's almost humiliating being a woman. I mean, look, if I was taking this book seriously, I would think, oh, well, look, I'm horrible. Why would I want to be a woman? I'm just like a slave, you know?
It's degrading.
That's not what it should be. I mean, I was created a woman for a reason.
Yep. It's offensive. That's why I guess it gets under my skin, because it's offensive.
For you as a wife, as a mother, you know?
Exactly. She says, the one crime the gods will not forgive is that of being a woman. What? I mean, this almost has been the biggest theme we've talked about in the book. I wonder, will C.S. Lewis, what is he doing with this?
It's fascinating because he obviously is not against women in other writings.
Oh, and he's putting it in the mouth of a character who is wrong.
Yes.
You know, she's not reflecting C.S. Lewis's views, which maybe she's reflecting views that he heard.
Yes.
This is how people are talking about women right now. No one is saying this probably as offensively, but this is what you're getting at.
Exaggeration a bit. Maybe I heard it from a woman who has these views or even from a man. C.S. Lewis is a genius and I'm going to trust it. But if you are trying to shape your ideas of love and marriage, do not read this book because it's not accurate.
Don't copy Orual.
No.
He does not believe this inside. Also, if you read the Chronicles of Narnia, you know he doesn't hate women.
Right. No, he's got strong female characters. Where have y'all seen the identity theme and where do you think it's going?
I know she puts her identity as of the moment in her queenship. So she is the queen. She is not Orual. She's not anybody else. She's not a little kid. She is a queen. And so she bases her whole entire life off of that. And that's really what she's formed her identity to be. God says that our identity should be in Christ. If we don't have Christ, then we try to find an identity. And so we put it in these worldly things and they never work out ever. So you see it in so many places. They base their whole personality off of one thing, but it should really be based off of Christ. And this identity theme is so important, I think.
It's so crucial for us to have names for objects and how they look. But Orual has no name. she has no face
Mhm.
and she has no true identity. She's queen. Queen is not a person. It's a title.
Mhm.
I think she's lost her identity forever.
Deciding your identity is in like your role as queen, or even one thing, I guess, queen, mother, whatever, is such like a flat view of yourself. She doesn't see that as people, we're like whole people. Whenever you choose a label, I think it flattens you to that one thing. And it's outrageous because she has so many relationships and actually really good ones. But it's like because she has closed herself off, she's become this lack of an identity. The way that God has created us is that I could list 100 things that make up who I am, and that still wouldn't be enough. There's still more. We relate to so many different things in so many different ways, and that's what makes us a real person. But she's just shut herself off from that.
A lot of people, when they read books, they complain that the character doesn't have enough depth.
Right.
So that means they don't have enough about them that makes them relatable or real, you know? So they become so flat, like with only one characteristic or two, that they aren't a person in your mind, really. Orual has done that to herself.
Exactly.
She's made herself completely characterless.
Yeah, and part of the characterlessness is even covering up her own face.
Yes.
Again, like faces too are so unique. There's so many facts. That's why they're so hard to draw. That's why AI can't even get it right. You're like, that's not me. It's really close. No. But bringing it back to putting our identity in Christ, because he is the creator and the redeemer of all things, then it keeps it from being flat. I am a Christian in Christ who loves to paint and read classic books, and as a mother of 3, and relationship to all those things should be opened up by my faith, and I do them all for the glory of God, not stifle me into one little bitty thing that I've chosen to take on as my identity. You know, yeah. Which we probably do that to other people groups too. There's a stereotypical joke that you're like, every Asian looks alike, you know, and we only think that because we're not Asian,
Yes.
you know, or whatever. Getting to know people, you realize the differences that are there.
Or even political parties. If you claim to be a Republican, you're automatically going to be put in a box. If you claim to be a Democrat, you're automatically going to be put in a box. But in reality, a lot of people who claim to be a Democrat or Republican have things that they disagree with about their party. They just mostly agree with these specific things.
Right.
So they say, oh, I'm a Democrat. So there is the rock in the temple, and it is called Unget, right? Orual replaces it and with a statue that has a face. So this rock, she says, is faceless. It does not have life. So now that she has the statue, I think she can see this god more. And later on in the second chapter, I know we haven't gotten to that yet, but Psyche has the statue of Psyche, or Istra, has a veil over her, and it gives her that facelessness that Orual relates to. She says, oh, we both have this veil, except hers is black and mine is white. So that's very interesting.
And what was interesting to me is when she decided to put the statue of Unget in there, she said that all of a sudden Unget didn't have the same power over her.
No.
And I was like, that's just interesting.
Yeah. Giving it a face makes it less scary.
Yeah. And again, Orual is like setting up herself as a rival with everyone.
Yes.
Don't make a rival of a god.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's not a good idea.
And Orual likes the power of her facelessness. To be faceless is powerful.
It's because she can take any identity she wants.
Oh,
It's
that's right.
I think that's having no face gives her the power to become whatever she wants, because she doesn't have a true identity. We've discussed that she can put her identity in whatever she wants, and she'll suddenly take that shape.
Yep. And that hits her off from true relationships with others. So it's a sacrifice. People who are genuine and vulnerable, you can know them. I don't know. You just get so easily into a relationship with them. But people who have no face is very hard.
That's why I like wearing sunglasses.
Yes, sunglasses. Oh, it's harder to talk to people who are wearing sunglasses.
Yes, because you can't see their eyes.
Yeah.
You don't know. Eyes are a window to the soul.
Yep.
Interesting.
Can you see Orual's eyes, do you think?
I don't think so.
one point she had the cutout for the sword fight, so she might wear it sometimes for the battles. It does mention in there that she did go to a few wars, but she was nothing of consequence. Okay, so after this stretch of 20 or so years, there are the new generation, and Orual wants to go and make a deal with somebody in the north. They hear about these hot springs, and Orual is like, oh, I best let the youngins go take a dip. She goes, but she doesn't get in the hot springs because, of course, she's not going to take any of her clothes off. And so she goes into the woods and finds this temple, and it turns out it's dedicated to Psyche.
Yeah.
But the story that the priest tells her is a little more close to the myth that we know today.
Mm-hmm.
And so Orual is like, this is not at all accurate. This is not what I've experienced. This is not what Psyche was like. I have to write a book and tell everyone that this is not what really happened, because this is completely false. And Orual goes back, and she's letting them have less time of sleep because she's so anxious to get back and write her book, because she knows the gods won't give her enough time to write if she doesn't do it now. So they finally make it home, and she's writing this book.
So the question is, whose story is actually accurate?
Yeah, so I never thought that at all when I was reading it. The whole time, I mean, I've assumed Orual's story is accurate, except for that she always leaves out that she actually saw the palace that one time.
Yes.
But what in the priest's story did you find? You were like, oh, that's very true.
Roll back your minds to whenever Cupid's basically hit her with lightning mentally and made her think back through everything and almost changed her mind. She said, I don't know if he changed it. If he went back and changed something, but that's not what it was like. She should have realized that everything she thought happened was wrong. And so I do think that what she said is what she thinks actually happened.
Yeah,
But I'm not totally sure if it was. Some of the things that the priest said are definitely wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the bottom line is it's completely truth. Orual knew Psyche's husband was a god. Orual knew that it was actually a palace there. In her inner soul, if she had actually thought about it, she knew.
Mm-hmm.
But she ruined Psyche's life anyway.
On purpose.
On purpose. And so it was as if she knew the palace. It was as if she knew there was a god there. And I think he just got confused whenever he said they were two sisters.
Oh,
That was definitely not true.
right.
No.
So you think the priest was more accurate in who should be accused,
Oh, yeah.
right? He said this, you may be sure that they would have plenty to say for themselves. The jealous always have. And I was like, ooh,
Burn.
Gotcha there.
yeah. That whole scene was very interesting. I didn't know if Psyche would show up.
I know.
She wasn't the point.
She is. She's my point. I guess I should go back and read the original myth. You know, this is what I really wanted.
Do you guys think that Psyche is a literal deity?
Yeah. Well, that's a bit what I got out of it too. Do y'all think so?
I mean, she's worshipped.
She's a new god, is what he said. It's crazy.
I know in the original myth she was deified, but she lives on Mount Olympus. That was definitely a change. I guess there's the Gray Mountain, which is kind of like the book's Olympus in a sense.
Yeah. This scene, I guess, of the dark holy place is really an accusation against Orual,
Yes.
right? And proving you knew all along, you were in her life intentionally. You had enough information. I thought her accusation was like, if you had just showed me clearly, then I would have done the right thing. But I didn't know. Do y'all think that's her accusation against the gods?
I think her accusation is, I guess she is a victim.
Right.
Mm-hmm. I guess she's just tried to put herself in such a, like, oh, you determined all these things. You're the gods.
Oh, yeah.
I had no control over what I did.
Fatalism.
Yeah.
Yeah, again, victim. Well, are you excited to keep reading? Or are you done with it?
I'm ready to finish it.
Yeah, me too.
Now, this is where I don't know what happens, but I know friends that have read it, and they're like, I just didn't get book 2. Oh. And so we're going to have to read really carefully. Now, we have an advantage because we have discussed the whole thing, so it helps you think through all these different issues. But is there anything you really hope is addressed?
The nephew. I want to know about him. I want to know if he's a good person. Is he actively taking care of Orual as she's on her deathbed?
I hope she addresses what it means to be a psyche.
Yes. Okay. Right. Are you talking about the quote?
The Cupid, yeah.
What
You
did-
too shall be a psyche.
Yes, me too. I wonder what that means still.
It doesn't make any sense. Mr. Lewis, we need to have a talk about this.
To conclude,
Don't forget to grab our freebie at growingfruitfulfamilies.com. I can't wait to see if people agree or disagree on the books we've chosen.
Esther and I were talking about this, how you can have a book that is not happy and really enjoy it because you actually see yourself growing in wisdom when you read it. And I feel like that has been the case with Till We Have Faces more than maybe any other book I've read because of our discussions. Can't wait to read the end. I hear people do not like it and it's very hard. And so I'm like, let's see how we can handle this, you know? Let's see what we get out of it. And after that, we're going to start the Aeneid. Huzzah! Yes! I'm so excited. So everyone needs to get a copy of the Aeneid translated by Robert Fagles is the one that we have. I don't think it probably matters who wrote it, actually, for you to enjoy our discussions. But that's what we're getting into next. I think this has been one of the best books that we have ever read to discuss.
Yeah.
So I've just really enjoyed it. Thank you, ladies.
We'll see you next time.